Let's continue our conversation about Stoicism, going over the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. We are making good progress in book 11, and today I wanted to talk about section 15, but I was just looking again at section 14, which I think is beautiful too. This is one of his very personal notes, I think. They despise each other, but still toady to each other. They want to win, but still grovel. I like them apples. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. Section 15. I think Marcus was a bit upset here. The rotten pretense of the man who says, I prefer to be honest with you. What are you on about, man? No need for this preface, the reality will show. It should be written on your forehead, immediately clear in the tone of your voice and the light of your eyes, just as the loved one can immediately read all in the glance of his lovers. In short, the good and honest man should have the same effect as the unwashed. Anyone close by as he passes detects the aura willy-nilly at once. Calculated honesty is a stiletto. There is nothing more degrading than the friendship of wolves. Avoid that above all. The good, honest, kindly man has it in his eyes, and you cannot mistake him. Strong words. I don't know if you can always see it in someone's eyes, but I find the thought here very interesting. There are certain examples, I think, sayings, phrases that we use to express certain things. And often those phrases are kind of peculiar when you think about it. I prefer to be honest with you. Or even saying something like, let me be honest with you. Why would you have to preface that? And of course, there's the classic, no disrespect, but, or with all due respect, but, and then usually there's something that more than once is utterly disrespectful. Why would you use a preface like that? If you are honest, I mean, hopefully when you are honest, as in all the time, or at least the most of the time, right? Why would you announce that? Isn't it kind of strange to signal that? Let me be honest with you. What you're trying to say is, you may not like what you're about to hear, but I'm not holding back, I think. I don't know why else, in what other context you would use. Let me be honest with you. You're probably not ready to hear this, but, this kind of stuff. Which is kind of strange. And I when I was reading this, I was reminded of the samurai. So let's make an interesting intercultural jump here. So if you've seen my videos from way back, I had a bunch of samurai swords behind me because I have a bit of a fascination with samurai culture. I had it then, and I still have it. I find it very interesting. And there's very, very interesting books to read from the period about samurai culture. Think of the Hagakure, the Budo Shoshinshu. There's a whole bunch of manuals, basically for samurai, written by samurai on how samurai should behave. Now, feudal Japan, the era of the samurai, was a society of, there were castes, right? Like castes, samurai class being the highest caste, and then you had farmers and artists and merchants and like so you had different kinds of castes in that society. I hope I pronounced that word correctly, because I now start to doubt, and I want to say caste, but then I don't know that caste. Anyway, I think you know what I mean. I'm sorry, correct my pronunciation, please, because that's how I learn. Samurai being the highest caste. Okay, so you probably have, I'm assuming, at least a working understanding of a little bit of samurai culture, and that was a very disciplined culture. There was the way of the warrior, etc. Now, where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is here. Samurai did not, and I find this fascinating, samurai did not give their word. So if they were making someone a promise, sometimes very pragmatic, they hated borrowing money, but sometimes times were harsh and they would have to borrow some money. They would pay those people back. Typically, it was not the samurai handling money, it was their wives. That's another interesting thing, because money was kind of beneath samurai. It's all very interesting, right? So maybe that's not the best example. But a samurai would not give his word. Why not? Because he was samurai. And being samurai came with certain obligations. Being honorable and being just. There are definitely some parallels with Stoicism there, I would say. But then from a very militaristic viewpoint. And why would you give your word if you are samurai? The mere fact that you are samurai is enough. So if you say, I'll pay it back tomorrow, then you will be paid back tomorrow. If you say, yes, I will do this for you, then you will do that for you. Are you sure? I give you my word. No, I don't give you my word because I'm a bloody samurai. So me even talking to you should be enough. Because I am a man of my word. My yes is yes, my no is no. Period. Now, I'm not trying to glorify samurai culture, because samurai also had the right to behead anyone of a lower caste who did not show them enough respect on the spot. So there's a lot to unpack here, but just from that perspective, why would you give your word? And I think that principle, not the beheading, but that principle of not even giving your word, is something that Stoics could get behind 100%. I could easily see someone like Zeno or Epictetus or Marcus Aurelius say, yeah, exactly. You don't have to give your word because you're a good person. Because you are a Stoic, because you're trying to be virtuous. You don't need to give your word. You should just do it. Do what you say. And that's one thing I really like about Stoicism. Stoicism is not a theoretical philosophy that deals with questions that will never be answered. Think of metaphysics, for example. It deals with pragmatic issues in everyday life. If you strive to be a good person, if you are virtuous as you can be, if your yes is yes and your no is no, why give your word? You saying, I will do this for you, should be enough. Yes, I'll pay you back next week. Period. I'm not sure if the paying back is the best example, but again, I'm trying to stick to pragmatic examples for this. You need help with X? Tell me where and when. If I'm available, I will be there. And then don't come back to that. You saying that should be enough. You are trying to be the spoudeos, remember? The virtuous person. And the virtuous person does not just talk the talk. The virtuous person also walks the walk. Because you can't do one but not the other, because that would not be virtuous. And I really think that really was my immediate thought when I read this. I found Marcus's clear anger here entertaining, because it shows that he was a person too. Again, Stoicism is not about never being angry. It's about learning to control those emotions as well as you can. But nobody is never angry. Nobody is never upset. Nobody is never frustrated. That's impossible. You can't excise all those emotions. You can learn to control them better. And you can learn to be a spoudeos. You can learn to be a virtuous man, literally translated, but a virtuous person, right? You can do that. And if you do that, if you follow that path, I think your life will be pretty good. There will be setbacks, but you learn to handle them quite well. And most importantly, you do what you say, and you say what you do. And that's it. I hope this was helpful. I hope you didn't mind the sort of intercultural expedition there, but I really think there was some interesting touching points, as we'd say in Dutch, between that passage and Bushido. So, hope this was useful. Let me know what you think. I'll gladly see you again next week for more talk about Stoicism. Bye.